Russia's economy is on a disastrous trajectory, but events in the oil market could spell the end of Putin in the next few months. According to analysts at oilprice.com, supply is likely to exceed 1 million barrels per day, or even 1.4 million BPD in the next months, due to a clash of events in the oil market. Trump's vow to drill baby drill by reducing regulation for U.S. production is just one of a number of changes that 2025 will see. Saudi Arabia, fed up with members of OPEC plus cheating on production, is going to raise its own production in an attempt to regain control of market from April. Originally, this was going to be in January, but the date has shifted. But higher production from non-OPEC plus members including America, Guyana, Argentina and Brazil is likely to tilt the market regardless of OPEC. Also proving that OPEC plus no longer has a stranglehold over the world's oil that they once did. Oil prices could drop to as little as $50 per barrel as the so-called cheaters in OPEC. Plus, countries like Russia and Iraq have not kept to the agreed production limits imposed to keep prices high. Therefore, Saudi Arabia decided to up production. Saudi Arabia's energy minister, Abdulaziz bin Salman, representing Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, have decided to end the cartel's quotas. Saudi oil is cheaper to produce than Russia's, and Brent crude is more desirable than Russia's Urals. Russia in particular has been pumping oil regardless of the limits agreed, and was found to have produced 122,000 barrels per day over its daily limit in July. Putin is not known to keep any agreements. It was expected that the Middle East war could disrupt oil exports in the Persian Gulf, leading to price increases, but in the event it made little difference. Geopolitical tensions have persisted for months without significantly impacting oil prices, frustrating Saudi officials who stick to production limits. During a recent phone conference, the Saudi energy minister warned other producers that prices could fall to $50 per barrel if they don't comply with agreed production cuts. He highlighted Iraq, which exceeded quotas by 400,000 barrels per day in August, and Kazakhstan, which plans to increase production as the Tengiz oil field, producing 720,000 barrels per day. According to one of the delegates present at the conference, the Saudi energy minister said there is no point in adding more barrels if there is no space for them on the market. Analysts at Citigroup have predicted the oil price falling dramatically regardless of KSA, even to as low as $30 per barrel. An increase in production of Saudi's Brent crude could easily end all Russia's wild ambitions to win a war in Ukraine for good when the end of the current deal goes ahead. Chinese demand continues to falter due to a slowing of their economy and huge production of electric vehicles. Half of China's car production is now electric, with huge subsidies providing incentives. Oil consumption in China, the powerhouse of world markets for the past 2 decades, has contracted for 6 straight months and will grow this year at just 10% of the rate seen in 2023. As if things weren't bad enough for Putin, Russia's oil revenues for the last quarter of 2024 declined by 29% compared to the same period in 2023 due to lower global oil prices and domestic subsidies. At least 3 Russian refineries have halted processing or cut output due to heavy losses amid export restrictions, rising oil prices and high borrowing costs. 3 factories, Tuapsin, Ilsky and Novosakhtin, have suspended or reduced production in recent months. The closure of refineries indicates the problems of the Russian oil refining industry. Factories are being attacked by Ukrainian drones, and industry is suffering from Western sanctions against Russia, so refiners are forced to sell fuel at a discount, mostly distributed by a rusting and uninsured shadow fleet. In 2024, international oil prices and the price of Russia's flagship crude, Urals, slumped compared to the same month of 2023. This eroded Russian revenues as the price of the Urals grade averaged $63.57 a barrel, compared to $83.18 a barrel last year. The revenues from oil for the state were also impacted by the government subsidy they paid to local refiners. Crude processing companies received in the last quarter the so-called damper payments, a form of subsidy to producers to encourage them to sell their refined petroleum products in Russia instead of exporting them for a higher price. Last year, Russia didn't pay such incentives to its refiners. So, per Bloomberg's calculations, the Russian budget received last month a total of $10.8 billion, 1.05 trillion Russian rubles, from oil, down by 29% from a year earlier. To add to this, Russia's looming economic catastrophe is coming ever closer as the ruble collapsed 10% in one day this week. The dependency on oil revenues will prove disastrous for the regime in the Kremlin. If Brent crude oil prices fall to less than $60 per barrel, they will not be returning to a higher price for years, as world production will exceed consumption for a long time. The World Bank predicts a significant oil oversupply in the coming years, leading to a potential drop in oil prices below $60 per barrel, and Trump will ensure the oil price collapses to please his blue-collar voters. Meanwhile, Urals Oil, Russia's own, always sells at a discount of around $5 less, and break-even price Russia needs to sell at is considered $75 per barrel, way higher than a price they can achieve. Meanwhile, KSA has no such worries. Putin has dictated to his government that defense spending must increase by 25%, making sure that Russian people continue to have miserable lives. The election of Trump and his plan to drill baby drill, which is already making USA the world's #1 producer, will only add to Putin's misery, but will also help Ukraine, Europe and the world rid itself of a tyrant. Thank you for watching my short update video. Please like and subscribe if you can. My channel has only been running 1 month, so I would appreciate your support. Bye for now.